He set new standards for urban planning in India with self-sustained townships, turning around the profile of Powai from an underdeveloped area to a thriving city within a city. He is a strong advocate of affordable housing, and even though he builds dream luxury homes for billions of people, his own dream is to make a slum-free India. We are talking about one of the finest thought leaders of the Indian real estate industry, Chairman NAREDCO and Founder Chairman Hiranandani Group, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. What a pleasure to be sitting and sharing the frame with you.
Thank you very much, Namrata. It's such a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for this very fine introduction. Yes, it would be a dream come true if we can make a slum-free India. And the best part is, it is possible.
Yeah.
So all the ideas that we have talked about so many years, this is one time where things can happen so fast that it would be unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I do believe that the Modi story, and we have a Mr. Devendra Fadnavis now, Chief Minister of Maharashtra. I think a combination of those two can do that in less than 5 years.
Yeah, and Mumbai is the richest city in the country and the financial capital, and yet 50% of the people live in slums. What a paradox. And you have been, constantly talking about how you can convert the slums to very livable areas. How can we make a slum-free India?
So 20 years ago, we thought that slums should go, and a policy was created. I was fortunately a part of that policy creation.
Yeah.
And a part of that drafting committee. We realized that we needed to make an innovative policy because earlier all we did was get more people coming into Mumbai, getting incomes, earning a living, but living in slums. This was a very big contradiction, as you just mentioned. And this was scary because we found that the politicians actually enjoyed it. And every few years, they kind of said, regularize these slums, then further date of regularization. And now that it has become more than 50%, as you said, they realize that this is not something which India should for Bharat could look for. So I think now the time has come where we are able to execute, carry out programs which are looking otherwise impossible. Look at Mumbai. Let me just share with you a few thoughts, and we go back to the slum question that you had. In the next 2 years, we are going to complete 300 kilometers of metro. Last 65 years, we had 190 kilometers of western railways, but we didn't increase those lengths at all.
Correct.
In 65 years. Now in 2 years, we will add 300 kilometers of metro in 2 years.
Well, that's significant.
We have a cross harbour bridge which crosses over 22 kilometers across the sea, and we enter into an area where we have enough vacant land equivalent to half the land of Mumbai. Another magic. The whole of Gurgaon, as you see it since you come from Delhi, will be now available vacant, just less than 20 minutes across the harbour. It's a huge opportunity. And the third, we have a coastal road on the western side, which is also very unique. So we've done all this in a very short time. Hence, the time has come where we can do this. We have the Dharavi model, which is taken up by Adani.
Yeah.
But that's about 7% of the total slums that we have. Though it's huge by itself, but still the rest of it is huge, much more bigger. So I think all those ideas and thoughts of a cluster schemes is now on the anvil and should take off very soon. We've been talking about it, and I'm sure you're going to be happy to hear that something is likely to come out of these ideas and thoughts, and the governments are very, very innovative in working out these schemes.
Well, you surely have some announcements which you are keeping them private for now, but you're also back from Davos, from the World Economic Forum, and India seems to have become independent of the China +1 alternative strategy. Has it really become a point of interest globally and a primary investment destination? You think the India growth story is now headed for better times?
I think you're talking about China +1. I would say Modi +1. Davos has been a blend of international commercial minds with political leadership and industrial mix and innovation. But I think the what should I say? The top end of this time's Davos meet was AI. And I think AI is going to make a change in the world on each and everything you and I will do. Each and everything that we will do in terms of construction, real estate, writing, education, communication, all that is going to see a change in the next couple of years. And it's happening now. Number two, I think sustainability was the second most important item in Davos.
Yeah.
So I think the commitments from the world was not up to expectations. I think much more bigger commitments need to be made. I think countries seem to be committing more to war rather than to sustainability.
Hold that thought about sustainability. And sustainability still is looked at as something premium, something niche, something expensive, and even futuristic. We know that the construction sector clearly accounts for increasing the carbon footprint, and cement and steel, just the two of them, account for more than 20% of increasing carbon emissions. So on the ground level, since you're not just representing a group and virtually a conglomerate of many developer companies being at the helm of affairs at the industry body NAREDCO, what do you think, how has sustainability played out at the ground level?
Looking after sustainability is the only way that our next generation is going to be able to live.
Yeah.
And quality is the only way that sustainability can climb to the next level. Sustainability and quality are not expensive. They are the cheapest things in the world. We made 2 buildings in Powai, which were commercial buildings 15 years ago, which were the highest rated, platinum rated REITs rated building, the first in the country, which was on the sustainable platform. They cost us 10% more. In 4 years of saving of energy, we covered this 10% additional cost.
Okay.
And after that, it is only profit.
Oh, okay.
And 15 years, we have recovered that additional cost 4 times. Many of the buildings in Mumbai are going for redevelopment after 20 and 30 years. There are other buildings which are more than 100 years and still don't require to be redeveloped.
Yes.
Simply because the quality of the building are that which does not require it, and all my buildings are like that. My point to everybody in Bharat is very simple. You have to think of sustainability and quality, and that is the only cheap thing. And those who don't look at sustainable and quality should be hanged.
Right.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You make roads and they've got potholes in them.
Yeah.
And then you keep on repairing them after every few years.
It's non-negotiable.
It's not negotiable. And this cheap context is, I'm not saying you don't require goods. You don't need high quality in the sense some superior amenities. But whatever product we get has to be of durable quality, irrespective of whatever it is. That basis of everything has to be quality conscious. And I think, fortunately for us, the Prime Minister also thinks the same way.
Yeah.
I went for the inauguration of the Bharat Mandapam. What a beautiful creation that has been done.
There's a change of mindset, really, rather than anything else. Let's go back a little. And you don't come from a family of real estate. And in fact, you don't even come from a family of businessmen. They were all professionals. And you are a first generation entrepreneur. Back in the 70s, when you started your business, how tough was it? And what has changed over the years significantly?
It was extremely difficult.
Yeah.
In my family, we never talked about profit and loss. We never talked about business ever. It was always about professionals, doctors and medicine and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My father was a doctor, my elder brother was a doctor, my sister-in-law was a doctor. Actually, when you get into the world of business, it's very different. In the world of real estate, it was horrible.
Really?
Because, in those days, black money in real estate was rampant.
Correct.
And it was impossible to do any business. You couldn't buy land without black money. You couldn't do any business without black money. And banks were not lending money for the purposes of real estate. So all that was extremely difficult. And the second aspect of which actually worried me more was the fact that my father, who was only a doctor, but a very reputed doctor, ENT surgeon, Padma Bhushan, Dhanvantri Award winner, was respected by everyone in the world. He was an honorary member of the American Society of Head and Neck Surgeons. He was received Padma Bhushan. The Prime Minister of the country knew him. Wherever he went, people looked up to him, respected him. He didn't have the kind of money which businessmen have, even in those days.
Right.
But when you compared the businessman and him, people would respect him 100 times more than they would respect a man who had money. And this always was there in the back of my mind. Niranjan, you're going to be one day a rich man, which is an aspiration of all businessmen. But are you going to be respected in society? What is it that will give Niranjan Hiranandani respect more than profit? Profit is a consequence and not the first thing. But one thing I started to do was join associations, created the Maharashtra Chamber of Housing Industry, we then created CRIDAI, I took over head of NAREDCO. But every time, thought was always there. How can we progress to such a stage where industry will be first respected? In those days, there was not a single corporate entity which dared to enter real estate. I repeat, dared to enter real estate. So you're talking about the 70s, not a single corporate. There was no Tatas, there were no Birlas, because it was considered a dirty business. What has changed over a period of years? We've been able to see that this black has disappeared. 2, we focused on quality product. We looked at the customer and kept him in the view. Every corporate entity in India now wants to be in real estate.
Yes.
We could make that change. And what is the magic? Look at the magic. Today, industry has changed. Money is now available.
Yes.
So people who buy apartments get money easily. There's long-term money which is available. Companies are able to do it. IPOs are created, and all these things are done. So the whole change which took place was a professional mindset in Niranjan Hiranandani coming from his father, a medical doctor, and thinking how that respect of a professional can come to a businessman.
So it was either or, either riches or respect, but you actually brought back the respect into real estate. And I think that was a watershed moment, I have to say. So लोग घर बनाते हैं, आपने तो शहर बना डाला. So, without sharing it with anybody, you just went ahead and bought some 250 acres of land in a not so promising Powai. What made you believe in Powai's potential?
Well, several thoughts. First, we built a place in Lokanwala complex. I built left buildings, one at a time, bought each small plot, built it, and every time built it. When I built it, in those days, I considered myself having made a good building, a better building than other people did. So I was very happy about it. Give me a satisfaction level. But when I stood on the top of the building and I looked around, I was not happy with the roads. I was not happy with the stormwater drain. I was not happy with the street light. I was not happy with the water supply. There were no gardens in that area. It kind of made me feel a vacuum that in reality, would I like to come and stay there? Yes, my building is beautiful, so I would like to stay here. But look at the rest of it. So we created an association where I encouraged all the builders who were there in that thing, including Mr. Lokanwala, who really supported me. And then we redid the roads, water, street lights and other things and made that thing. But it was a very big struggle. It wasn't easy for me to convince all the other people to do that together. And I decided that time, one day, I'm going to get a place where everything which I do, everything around me is going to be built by me on a standard which is there. So that was Powai, and that was the inclination to pick a barren quarry land and then try to create a dream come true, and then built it, and what you're complimenting me has actually been a dream come true. But there was one more thought all the time when we started making Powai. And that was my father, professional, we lived in Malabar Hill, which is considered one of the best places, though
Yes.
that time partly rented house and then owned flat and then building. Uh, the thought was that everything I make in Powai should be better than the best building in Malabar Hill.
Oh, wow.
So, the building in Malabar Hill is considered iconic even those days. And I said, can I make a building in Powai for everybody as good as that building? It was the roads, better than the best in Mumbai. The gardens, better than Malabar Hill Garden. The street lights, better. Concrete roads in a private layout, never happened before. All the piping in those times used to be iron and stuff. I changed it to PVC. We gave, first time in Mumbai, we gave a 10-year guarantee for waterproofing of terrace. We changed bathrooms. We said if there is any problem with waterproofing in bathrooms, we will redo it. And within a period of time, if it's not being repaired, we will break the bathrooms and redo it.
I see.
And we consistently did that. So what happened is that, and of course the aesthetics, we had a very good architect, his contractor, we worked together with him, we created a different type of architecture, which is being emulated by many people, even in the north.
Yes.
And the results are fantastic. I sold some iconic building in those days at 850, 950 rupees a foot. Today that same flat building apartment is being sold, resold at 42,000 rupees a foot
My goodness.
and not available.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, but are good times actually rolling for Indian real estate? You know, the latest, most talked about transaction where Amitabh Bachchan and his son Abhishek bought a flat in Oshiwara at some 31 crores in 2021, were able to sell it at 83 crores. Was it also, is it like, are we back to the upbeat economic sentiment where it's an investor's market, even in, you know, luxury housing, residential, so to say?
The answer is yes. The country is growing richer, and we do find both the middle class as well as the rich are now able to buy much better quality of houses, have much more surpluses money, and the banks and financial institutions are able to lend money for the purposes of buying of these houses. So a combination of these 2-3 things is really doing extremely well. The challenge, of course, is affordable housing, but the premium segment is doing across the country extremely well. A large number of people have also made money in the stock markets, and they, after COVID, they want a better quality of life in terms of housing. So yes, the answer is yes, that part of it has happened and is very successful.
Okay, let's look at one very important aspect of India, which is the spiritual destination. The whole world practically is headed towards Prayagraj, and we know how it's the talking point currently globally. So, are these you know, spiritual destinations like Prayagraj, or it may be Tirupati, Ayodhya, Mathura, are these a great real estate opportunity?
Yes, it's happening. You go to Shirdi, you'll see a different type of destination, the Varanasi. There's so many centers in India. You go to the Golden Temple in Chandigarh. I think all these are going to be great places of tourism and real estate to take place. So yes, this is happening, and I think it's a top-down approach and a bottom-up approach. The top-down is from the Prime Minister leadership, which is the Chief Minister like UP, and other places also. But it's a bottom-up approach also, because you do see a lot of local authorities, you see a lot of corporates developing who are participating in the destinations which you do. Prayagraj, you see a lot of corporate who are taking interest in seeing how this destination should be supported.
I want to also talk about how sometimes personal relationships might intersect with professional disagreements. How does one navigate in family businesses these kind of conflicts? Because this is life at the end of the day. What is your advice to people?
I'm scared to give an advice. because conflicts seem to be a part of our
existence
today. I just can't understand the Russian-Ukraine war. I cannot understand the Israel-Hamas war. I cannot understand the need to expansionism to everything. I cannot understand destruction of human life. I'm not able to understand it at all. I also cannot understand the jealousy that creates in families, the dissension which is taking place. In the world, we have so much prosperity. 30 years, 40 years ago, India was a very poor country. We are prosperous. And still you find brothers and brothers fighting, father and son fighting, family level. Also, I don't understand because the world is so big and everybody can become rich, everybody can become prosperous. And I somehow or the other, I'm still questioning why the world is so happy with wars.
No, I think you're all about positivity, and whatever I know of you, you're all about divesting your energies in, lot of good things. And you just back from Davos last week, and then you were busy with the budget briefings. Last evening, I believe you were playing hospitality to the British royalty, and today early in the morning you're recording this podcast with me. So how do you keep yourself so relevant and rocking, Dr. Hiranandani, even at this age, even in your mid-70s, you're not certainly slowing down?
So, at age 52, I'm now 75. I was supposed to die. I was seriously unwell, and I saw my father cry like mad, and he wouldn't cry unless he was sure I'm going to die. Mm-hmm. Fortunately, I survived. And I suddenly realized that, one can die anytime.
Yeah.
And that was a realization for me. So I took a decision that I will live a full life every single day of my life.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it because I don't know when you can die. And I felt that every day of my life is bonus from today onwards.
Yeah.
So I want to make it and give it the best.
Yeah.
My belief that the Creator has kept me one day more in this life in order to do more, give more, and create more. And since then, it always excites me to do things. And 25-30% of my daily time today goes in not-for-profit activity on a daily basis.
Okay.
Saturday, Sunday included.
Okay.
So that's the part of me which changed around the age of 50s. And it still survives today. I don't know how long I'm going to live.
Yeah.
That only the Creator can tell you. But I promise you, I will not waste a single day of my life and say, sit back and as long as I have the strength to sit back and say, अभी देखो बैठ जाएंगे आराम करते हैं कुछ नहीं करेंगे.
Retire हो जाएंगे.
Retire.
Never.
I retire.
Yes.
Not retire.
And rewire.
Rewire and retire.
Yeah, that's a good approach to have. Live every day as if it were your last. Treat everyone as if he were you. The next segment is a fun segment. It's a rapid fire round. It's all about instinct and intuition. So what have been your proudest project till date?
The next one.
Okay.
Because when you complete a project, then other people look at it.
Okay.
I don't look at it. I leave it to you, leave it to other people, leave it to the consumer, leave it to the government, leave to authorities, leave to the newspaper, leave to the magazine. Let them look at it.
Okay.
हम तो दूसरे करने के लिए निकलते हैं.
Okay.
क्योंकि I'm now busy doing the next one.
Okay. The best compliment you've ever received from a customer?
I'd gone to an architect college where they recite who's Niranjan Hiranandani, and 15 years ago. And this little girl, short girl, introduced Niranjan Hiranandani and said, every person has history, his story.
Yeah.
But Niranjan Hiranandani has not only his story, but he has created geography. For a moment, I forgot my speech.
What would you tell someone who stays on rent and has not invested in a home till now? Buy versus rent. What is your advice?
I think each person should buy a house. So it's my recommendation to each person to look for an investment into a house, which is imperative that he should do in his lifetime. It's the biggest social security an individual can have in this country. छोटे घर में हम खुश रह सकते हैं, बड़े महल में लोग दुखी भी होते हैं. ये नहीं सोचना. You get your house and be happy and content with it. But you need just one home to be happy.
Yeah.
So you get a house and convert it into a home.
Yeah.
कितना बड़ा है वो नहीं देखना. I've seen palaces where the two members of the family stay on the opposite sides of the palace and don't even see each other and hate each other and are jealous of each other and for no good reason. And I've seen small homes and all that where the families are so happy and living together. So yes, buy a house, make it into a home.
Okay. Beautifully articulated. What's more important in housing projects, location or amenities?
Location is very important, amenities is very important, quality is more important, sustainability is very important, transport is very important. So different things will be more important to different people and different projects at different
points of time.
So it's not one thing, it's 50 things which are important.
Yeah, one has to just deep dive into oneself and figure out what is the most important priority at this point of time.
Absolutely.
So what is your piece of advice for people to invest in commercial real estate? Is it only for the high-end investor, or is it also for the small-time, medium-scale investor as well?
Both. The high guys also do it. If you have funds like Brookfield, Blackstone investing into commercial, you have small people who buy a small shop, people buy small offices. There is the smallest of small that you can have and the biggest of big you can have. Now you can indirectly invest into commercial assets through the REITs program. So you can put 2 lakhs of rupees and invest into a commercial asset. So now you have media which is there, which is going to be. There's another one which is called fractional ownership of places. It's not coming to India, it's not yet popularized and it doesn't yet work because the structure is still not well backed by the government. But I think sooner or later it will happen. So you'll have fractional ownership of commercial premises, fractional ownership of residential premises, which is likely to come in. But it'll take some time for it to get created. So you can buy commercial assets also in this way. But many people buy a small shop and small offices from me and from lots of other people.
One thing that delighted you about budget 2025-2026?
मोदी जी और वित्त मंत्री की चमत्कार, अफोर्डेबल इन द मिडिल क्लास को जो राहत दी. फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर also said it that it was more difficult to convince my bureaucrats than to convince the prime minister to bring this change. I talked to many of the bureaucrats to reduce the rate of tax and you will collect much more money. And all the bureaucrats tell me that you don't know simple mathematics. But they don't know that one day there was 98% tax and there was no collection of income tax. And now with 35%, 25% and 15%, they collect lakh of crores of tax.
Correct.
So rationalization of tax both at the central and state level is necessary. Maharashtra did the same thing. During COVID, we reduced stamp duty and other taxes by 50% and the collections went up. But luckily, the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister has set the new trend that come tax karo or collection बढ़ जाएगा.
Correct.
और ये देखना, this year's tax collection will be the highest ever because of the lowering of the rate of tax.
One thing which you are not very happy about in budget 2025-2026?
दिल मांगे मोर. मेरे पास 50 की
एक चीज जो आपको लगती है कि वो होनी चाहिए थी.
मुझे लगता है कि रियल एस्टेट के द्वारा बोल सकता हूँ
जी.
जो टैक्स डिडक्शन होता है फॉर interest on home loans that is stuck at 2 lakhs of rupees since last 15 years. I think that needed to be increased to at least 5 lakhs of rupees in order to do it. And second, for townships like ours in Powai and others, we wanted to create infrastructure status for housing, similar to roads, hotels, IT and other things have been given infrastructure status, so that the funding, long-term funding availability for township projects will come at a much lower rate and long-term funding would be available.
What's the next big trend in Indian real estate industry which you foresee and anticipate?
You're going to be surprised how much middle class is going to grow in the next 5 years. Huge. I think the number of people entering the middle class area will at least quadruple in the next 4 years. Quadruple, 4 times the size. Which means India is becoming richer in the middle class area. Simultaneously, the rich is also growing rich. Those will be perceived rich. But the numbers in the middle class will grow exponentially. So you will have more people traveling on holidays, more destinations being created, more airports being done, more railways going done, more people traveling abroad. All this is going to see a big change in the next 5 years. You will see that happen. And India's story will continue to be strong. India-centric, the world will become India-centric. So between my 75th and this 80th year, I'm looking at a growth of India which is never seen before. The India story in real estate has to be elimination of every slum in Mumbai and India. ये चलता है मीडियम शुड को. Quality. कि इंडिया जो भी बनाती है बेहतरीन बना. We make quality.
Yeah.
People should never feel this is India material, so it's not so good.
Yeah.
You should say ये कपड़े भारत में बने हैं, हिंदुस्तान में बने हैं, इसलिए अच्छी होगी. लोग कैसे बोलते हैं this is Japan made, so it's good quality. तो ये एक मकसद होना चाहिए.
Correct.
और प्रधानमंत्री जी तो करते ही हैं, लेकिन मुझे लगता है इसको कारवा करने के लिए हर एक को उनके साथ में जाना
करना चाहिए. So some questions about the person that you are, your most expensive possession.
You don't know.
Of course, your homes would be prized possession for many,
Yeah,
but for you, what is your
from a
most?
value proposition? Maybe my house.
How do you invest money? Do you also invest a lot into real estate?
So basically, most of my money has been into real estate. My son is focused on data centers, gas pipelines, and other things.
Yeah.
He built the second tallest residential tower in the world.
Okay.
My daughter is based in London, and she does investments all over the world. So all that is different in terms of whatever investments we do. On my personal side, most of it has been backed into real estate, wherever we looked at a bigger investment into those markets. And a lot of focus on not-for-profit activity. Mumbai, 14 colleges, we have 6 schools, we have a skill development center for the poorest of poor, we have hospitals, and all that is not-for-profit. And it's worked on that basis on what it is, and hopefully it will continue that way. So the idea basically is that you can't have only assets, because ultimately you're going to leave it behind.
Yes.
And the more I have, the more I have to leave behind. So the regret is, if I make more, then I have to leave more behind. But if you combine it with whatever other work you do, then it's a blessing.
Yeah.
So the assets become a blessing for you, your family, and other members, because it's not only because you're giving to society.
Right.
अच्छे घर दिए ना, तो that is giving.
Legacy.
It's a legacy, it's an asset which you always will leave. Yeah. But if you only treat it as a business and a profit, then that will disappear and nobody is going to look at it after 1 year.
Finally, what is chicken soup for your soul? You inspire so many, but what inspires you?
Lot of people. It's people who actually inspire me.
Any names that you'd like to
Prime Minister
share?
Modi is one of them,
Okay.
definitely. Narayan Murthy and his wife Sudha could be the other one.
Okay.
Mr. Mukesh Ambani is I think one of my idols who really brought it up. His father was even a bigger idol in terms of it. In real estate, I had the Rajas, the Lokhandwalas, and all these people were my idols. DLF, KP Singh has been my idol. So what happens is, हम mentor or idol रोज चुनते हैं. As long as you are a learner all your life from anybody, topmost to top, whether it's a religious book or it is a person or it is a principle or an idea or a thought, as long as you're learning, they are my mentors.
Yeah.
रोज सीखने को मिलता है.
You're a student of life,
Yes.
and as the saying goes, you can't do today's job with yesterday's methods and be in business tomorrow. There's so much that I think we learned from the conversation with you, Dr. Niranjan Hiranandani. Thank you for all your time and sharing wonderful insights.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much.